Hey, Instagram, it's me, T from the Pattersons, taking the train to Tibet. I'm calling to you like I'm in a big canyon. I am outdoors. This is, I'm at my sister's place. I say it's my sister because, well, her and her husband. This is a big property. They got the lake over there. Did you all see the lake last time? I was here before and I showed you. See that lake right there? It's what is called a lakeside property. Living that middle class, upper middle class life. In fact, here's a problem. I'm such an old man and stuff like that. They got all these cars. They drive me. They say I need to go. I need to go a lot of places. Except for when I walk in the morning. I'm not gonna walk this morning. Maybe I should walk this morning. I'll think about that. I just got here. I'm driving down from New York in Big Red. Anyway, and so I'm here. And this is where I'll be for the next couple of months. Well, except for when I take that break in June. I got to go back up to New York in June. There's an important meeting on the 7th of June. I'm going to try to be up there by Friday. Because all the people that I missed that I didn't talk to, will make arrangements. I'll fill out my dance card. So all the people I didn't see, I got to see because then I'll be, yeah, don't worry about that part. Anyway, cranberry juice, no ice. In the South, man, they put ice in everything. We're in the South, by the way. Virginia, IA. And I got a room, it's hard. But actually, my room is here. So this means that I can never be houseless, as they say. My sister makes sure, she say, look, this my, my last brother, everybody going. They just finished visiting my other sister upstate New York. That's when they came out and picked me up. So there's only 3 of us left. 3 out of 7. Not bad. Anyway, so, but I'm not going to actually be here. I'm going to be over at the other house. This other house. That's my, we do a lot of healing, In fact, I should walk this morning. I'll put on my other shoes, not walk. Anyway, survey the neighborhood, as they say. I know the neighborhood. It's the same neighborhood. Anyway, and coming down, it's interesting. I got to say this because I checked the whatever we have. As you may or may not know, I went off on Yvette yesterday. About her thinking this whole thing about sinners, and she was really sniping on senators, and I came down to believe that it's because the Ryan Coogler, the director, mentioned in one of his interviews, Foundation of Black Americans, and that triggers a lot of people who have other ideas or whatever, and it got me to thinking. When I talked to Buddy, my brother up in New York last day, where I was leaving there. There's this thing that Amos Wilson had. Next time I go there, I'll get the book and I'll read the passage to you, whatever it is. And basically, the problem is this: American Africans. Yes, I said American Africans. You're American. You got a passport, and maybe they're not Africans because they don't have an African mentality. When you're an African American, or you're saying that you're claiming the landmass of Africa somehow and America at the same time, and as it was pointed out in was it the Long Dream? In the Long Dream by Richard Wright, the fish, the 4 protagonists, the 4 it's coming of age story of young black men, and they having this argument by a lake. I think it's by the lake. I said, "What are you? You're not African. You got 1 foot in Africa, you got 1 foot in America. You're not African or American." Now, once you spread yourself like that, you put 1 foot there, then you open your legs up, and somebody could smack you right in your genitals. Just saying, right? So this whole African American thing, it don't work. I know Jesse popularized, or whoever popularized back in the day, because nobody wanted to be Negro anymore. Actually, we're always black, but we won't get into that. But anybody can be black. You have melanation in the skin. I just came from India, so they black down there. They don't say that, but the point is, you're always black, right? And you want to delineate what kind of black you are. If you say African American, you're basically saying that, yeah, I'm from America. I'm an American black. Well, you don't say it that way. You say I'm African American. You want to put Africa as your stamp to make sure that people know. But then again, they're just confusing these day and age because then anybody coming from Africa and become American, they can be African American. And I guess the classic example that you use is Charlie Stern or the musky guy. You know what I mean? Anyway, the point is this: I always say I'm American African because I carry an American passport. My lineage is in America, but I have an African mentality. There is the difference. It's the mentality that you have. You can be African American, but if your mentality is American, woo, you're in trouble. You can be whatever you are, but if your mentality is whatever, in America, it's kind of place they have it's competing, it's competing, colliding mentalities. That's part of the problem. The thing is, I realized we're going off on an event I shouldn't have, because it's against the code. Mr. Neely Fuller basically says they say what they say, and then you leave them alone. You know what I mean? The history will prove them right or wrong, and I'm not going to apologize because I got really upset, really upset. Anyway, here's the thing. Like, let me throw supports out. We've all been educated with different kind of things, this and that, but we're still educated in that, let's call it Eurocentric way. And even when these high degree people, right, to get a high degree, I say high degree, like master's or PhD, whatever have you, what you basically do is you take a thing that's been done and you look at it, and it's usually the source is usually a Eurocentric source. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some Black American. I say black. Some black people, Americans, some American Africans, who have gone beyond that and then go back to the source in Africa. You know, that's been popularized these days. But for the most part, these people that you see speaking, you know, that's really talking about through a Euro whatever view, right? And then you have competing Euro views. And then what you're doing, you try to find the gap that they have in their argument, and then you fill in the Euro argument in a Euro manner. You see? You're not, how do you say this? It's called endogenous. Endogeny is like it comes from self, you know? So for instance, I'm an audio dramatist, but my audio drama thing comes from my theater training, but theater training comes from my radio training, but the actual art of audio drama comes from me. I wasn't taught it, right? So it comes from me. So when I got to a point where I said, okay, I've conquered the way that we did it, then I start doing some other things with it. You see? Okay, my point is this. As Marcus Garvey would say, let me throw some more Pan-African stuff like that. And is that, you know, not everybody's going to make it to this. But now I'm corrupting his name. Not everybody is going to have, excuse me, beverages. Not everybody's going to have this African mentality. Some people are going to be actually American, or American European, or as we say, Negropeans, right? Even some Africans are going to be Afropeans. You see, they have an African mentality is different to come through an endogenous thing. The most famous person right now, I'm a nowist by the way, right now is Commander Ibrahim. I call him Commander Ibrahim. You know him as Captain Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso. But I call him, he's my Commander-in-Chief. And he's, like, you can tell this man has read. He has read. The kind of stuff he's coming up with, it can only come from an African mentality. It can only be germinated from a true African out. You see, and that's what's going on right now. So for me, I keep on saying the most important thing right now in my life that I got here. I have a little respite here. I gotta work on the old body. Oh man, I got lost. Oh man, it's terrible. I get the fascia going but I have to get the muscle mass back. Hopefully, it'll only take 2 months. Hopefully. I got to be diligent about it. But I got the other house. I'll be working in the other house. I'll be at another house. This is just anyway, don't worry about it. We'll have, I'll set this up. Like when I was in India, I had my healing room. Well, I got a healing house down the street here, right? To get this ready, what am I getting ready for? I'm getting ready for the conference that's happening in Ethiopia in September. This, for me, as I understand it, right? Again, I'm a nower, so I can only deal with the now. This is the expanded now. I can't deal with the future. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. But this conference, I insist, is going to really lay the groundwork because it's CARICOM and the African Union putting this together. So if you look at CARICOM, it's like the diaspora, the fountainhead for diaspora, and of course the diaspora people can come like me. Right? And then the African Union, which they're the sponsors, but the people that's going to be there hopefully they'll have the African mentality, right? And the conference is around reparations, and they'll be coming on. They'll have all their ideas, and as soon as I spot, I want to be so. Look, when you can spot, you can really spot somebody who's been Euro trained, and when you spot them, all you got to do is go into your African mentality, neutralizes them completely. Now, the easiest way. I'm gonna give a catchphrase. Let me go Sonia Sanchez, Sister Sonia Sanchez. I know Greg Carr quotes her a lot of time, but she wrote this play anyway, and basically back in the 60s. She's a part of the Black Arts Movement. And the phrase is, but how do it free us? So anything that's coming up in this conference, if somebody points it out and says, how does it free us? And us meaning the Africans. I'm sorry, with the people with the African mentality, talking to the rest of Africans. Because in coming down here, I was talking to my niece. I said, "Oh, did you see Sinners yet?" She said, she saw it. But she said on the Facebook, I don't do Facebook. A lot of people said they weren't going to see it because it was devil worship. It was something with the devil, right? So that's what I'm saying. You have a portion. You have a small portion of people, if they're so Christianized or so Eurocentric, that they won't look at a black film that's bringing a lot of people together. And the film itself is a brilliant film that brings all the elements that we need together, right? They're not going to watch it because I'm sorry, I have to say it this way. I'll say it this way. The white Christian man, they believe the white Christian man will look at it as, or their Negropean whiteness from the Christian man says as labeled without even saying that this is demonic. So you can't watch this because it's demonic. Why? Because it's got vampires, so it's demonic. This reminds me when back in the day when The Exorcist came out and the Catholic Church said, "Don't see this film because it's the whatever it is." So you're not supposed to go see The Exorcist. Anyway, it's a big. Go back. Look, I was in the movie theater with The Exorcist. It was very funny because people were actually fainting and falling out. I said, that's because you ain't been in the movies in a long time. So a lot of people are commenting on things, be they popular culture or whatever it is. They're commenting on things. It's not in their world. It's not in their wheelhouse. This is the biggest problem. So they can't. So they're bringing their sensibilities to the group, but their sensibilities are distractions from the group. What I wish could happen in the next 2 months before the conference is that we stop dealing with all the distractions, leave Diddy and Uncle Shay Shay, all these distractions they put you. Just leave them alone. Okay, you can look at it for a second, then keep on going and stay on reparations. The other thing you have to do, I'm drinking cranberry juice right now, but it has sugar in it, I don't know, is, look, think what would happen if we stop altering our states to a large degree. In other words, instead of drinking a whole bottle of that French one, Hennessy, that's French, yeah. Instead of drinking the whole bottle, just take a sip. Don't finish the whole bottle in 2 months. Instead of drinking yourself to death or smoking yourself to death or whatever or shooting up, whatever you're doing, just take a break for 2 months. Do like I have. Take a break for 2 months. Right? Now, I'm not saying not to do it. Just calm down and take that energy you would spend doing that, and think about bringing things together. What can we do to free us? How can we the commander in chief, Commander Ibrahim, says something that maybe what we should do is follow his instructions for the next 2 months until that's what it is. I'm gonna follow my commander in chief for the next 2 months because worldwide he's the man, the myth, the legend. So we're gonna do it that way, okay? All right. I'll talk to you later.